Today, we were going to go on a coastal adventure and do a bunch of free dive, spear fishing, and cool stuff like that. The ocean conditions were terrible, and we thought it was going to be a little bit dangerous. So instead, we came back out to our spot on the river on canoes. We're going to do a second canoe adventure, and this time we're going to make shelter. So we got to go gather some shelter materials right now, and we're going to make butter in a little bit, which is always fun, some herb butter. And then we're also going to cook elk burgers for tonight with some wild mushrooms that we gathered earlier in the season. And then we are doing pulled pork style goose sliders tomorrow for lunch. And we're going to try and do that in an sort of an earth oven, but with a Dutch oven in it. Something we picked up from a guy named Clay Hayes. You should check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyway, there's going to be a bunch more to come. I don't want to ramble anymore. Let's just get to it. We're losing light, so we need to build some shelter. So stick with us. Oh man, how am I going to get through here? Oh man, that's a lot of stuff to carry. Oh man, it's thick. Charge! All right. So this is white sweet clover. It's growing all over the banks here. You can see the little bees are pollinating right now. And Justin's up there like a yeti, shaking trees and getting materials together for a shelter. But I wanted to show you the clover because I know you guys can't smell this, but it smells amazing out here. It's like the sweet clover has this just amazing sweet smell. And then we've got blackberries that are blooming right now, or not blooming but fruiting, and you can smell it in the air, this blackberry sort of like layer in the air. Plus the smell of the river, it's just so fresh. I'm super excited to be here right now. This is great. It's also great to have an older brother who loves doing cool stuff. I was just telling him, like, it's just fantastic. We've been best buddies since we were kids, and we just get to keep coming out here and having adventures together, trying new stuff. So I was gonna do the shelter with all stone tools, but we are late in the day. I had to drive out a couple hours to get here, hit some traffic, so I think we're just gonna use the handsaw, and then next time I'll do it with all stone tools, or maybe me and Martin will do it. We both make a lot of stone tools. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking and get gathering. Up here, this is called mugwort, also known as motherwort and wormwood, and it's in the sage family. It smells amazing, really very potent. It's growing all through here, and we're gonna use some of that in our thatching because supposedly it's an insect deterrent as well. So we'll weave that in with some of the non-native, which is the arundo here. We're cutting a bunch of this stuff, but just remember it's a super invasive, very problematic plant for these California riparian corridors, so removing it is not an issue. This week on Check Out What My Brother Made Me, check out what he made me. There we go. Check that out. Nice little carving knife. And the handle he made by laminating birch bark. How sweet is that? It is hair popping sharp, crazy scary sharp, really cool carving knife. Well, you guys probably can't see anything. Maybe you can see the fire, but hopefully you can hear these crickets. This is the sound of the country. This is where we grew up. And yeah, I remember just falling asleep listening to these guys every night. Beautiful. So we made our shelters Ended up having to use some cordage that my brother made from cattail. This is braided 3-ply, and it's not perfect, but you know, it ought to do. Then my brother's got his lean-to over here. Got a fire going. Justin's gonna sleep out in a wool blanket tonight. It's gonna be a bloodbath. Is that creepy? So here we are back at the campfire. Hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully there's enough light. If not, you can turn on the lights. Boom! We got some corn going. We got some elk burgers. And toasting the buns. And it should be very, very tasty. Alright guys, it's 10 o'clock. We got here kind of late, but we finally got our meal together. We've got elk burgers with bacon and avocado. And we got some corn going on the fire. Pulling that off right now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Justin couldn't wait. He had a first bite of his burger already. What'd you think, bro?
It's great, man. Super good. Yeah.
Super good. Look at, he's had multiple bites. That's not fair. Anyway, check out this cool pan he's got. Cold handled. It's super lightweight. And you said it was what, 100 years old?
I don't know. They've been making it for like 100 years. It's hard to, you can't really date them, but yeah, it's old.
Cool. Cool. Well, I need to eat. I'm not going to give you a taste test because... Oh, I am. Sweet. Here, I'm going to give you this.
Okay, I'll just put some corn in my lap.
Yeah, put some hot corn in your lap. All right. Avocado, bacon, ketchup, elk. Let's do it. Dude, that's hella good. Thanks, Robert. You're amazing. That is so good. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're ditching the camera because we're hungry. We'll see you tomorrow. I just prepared our goose breast. Thank you very much to my neighbor Luke. We're going to slow cook this with some bay leaves that I gathered the other day and some onion and garlic. Pour some water over it, and we're going to slow cook it in a pit. Smart move. Nice. There it is. There we go. I want to get that big piece of charcoal in my coffee. Okay. Ooh, careful, it's gonna pop.
The cool thing is you don't have to add coffee grounds to this kind of coffee.
Right, yeah. It also doubles as stone soup. There's a lot of minerals in there. Yeah, I think I could have got it a little bit hotter, but it's definitely cooking. You can hear it.
So this is something that you did in Mongolia?
Yeah, so in Mongolia they do a lot of stone boiling, and I lived in a camp out there for 2 summers, so combined I think about 3 months. And actually one of the things that they would do is they would fill animal carcasses with these hot stones, and they would cook them from the inside. So that's something my brother and I are going to do on this channel pretty soon. Maybe we'll do it with a marmot like they did. You can see it's steaming. These little coffee cones are awesome too. You know, we don't get any money from anything that we're doing on this channel, so if we give you a recommendation on some gear, it's because we like it, not because we're getting anything in return. But I really like these little coffee cones with this permanent coffee filter, because you actually don't need to go buy the disposable ones, which is good because we don't like no messing around with disposable stuff. Here's the coffee. Look at how fast that was to make. Beautiful cowboy coffee. Could stand a horseshoe up in it. Breakfast of champions. That's good. I like the stone boiled taste. Anyway, I had to modify this willow as a graboid. The Paiute actually use similar ones for their stone boiling when they do like pinyon pine gruel and stuff like that. Of course theirs look way prettier than mine does. Okay, so we've never done this before. We have noticed that the cottonwood bark and willow bark that we have, that we cooked down to coals, doesn't look like it's holding as much as we thought. It is hot, so that's good. But what we're going to do is we're just going to fill it back in and hope that this slow cooks this goose. It's also very difficult to dig in this gravel. I would really have rather had a pit made in clay or something like that that would really hold its walls. This thing, it was like every time I took a shovelful, half of it just poured right back in. So we'll see if this works. So my brother was also saying earlier, and this was something I was thinking of as well, you got to be really careful where you dig these pits, because if you have any roots underground, what can happen is that they'll start to smolder and just kind of act like a coal extender, and they just slowly travel out. And if there's any kind of oxygen where they can get to, it could be a day or two later, it can pop up as a fire, even like 10 feet from where you had your fire. So in this day and age, wildfires are a constant, at least here in California. So please be careful where you dig your fire. And I think Ray Mears says something like, you got to even decide if having a fire is a good idea to start with. All right. So Justin's doing a bow drill fire just because he wants to, and I was gonna make some butter, and usually I just shake the heavy whipping cream in a jar until it turns to butter basically, but I got thinking like it might be easier if I punched a hole in the top of the jar, filled it with that cream, and then put a spoon in there and then rotate the spoon really, really fast. And then I got thinking the best way to do that is probably with a bow drill. So today is Hillbilly Bushcraft Bow Drill Butter Maker 3000. Let's see if it works. Alright guys, not sure how to stabilize this. I'm going to have to dig it down in the ground.
Here, you want me to hold it? I figured that was going to be an issue. But I heard this idea pitch.
Let me try and dig it down in the ground. One of the greatest scientific experiments of all time. It's totally working. Dude, we're gonna have butter in no time. So I seriously have been making butter since I was a kid. I remember the first time was at this Russian fort on the Sonoma coast called Fort Ross. And I remember when we made the butter, it took forever, and then we put it on bread, and everybody like unanimously was like, this is the best butter we've ever had. So I started doing it now and then, and today we're gonna do it with some herbs from the garden. We're gonna make a nice herb butter, and then we are going to put that on some bread, and we're going to hopefully put our pulled pork style goose breast on the bread to make some sandwiches if we generate enough heat with that pit oven. So we'll see. But in the meantime, basically what I'm doing is I'm just agitating the cream. This is heavy whipping cream, and eventually what will happen is it'll turn to the consistency of whipped cream, and then right after that the butter will solidify and separate from the buttermilk. And once that happens, you can just pour off the buttermilk. You could use that for your pancakes or whatever. And then the butter, you can mix in salt, you can mix in herbs, do whatever you want to do. Nice, dude. Got a lot of smoke going there. That was great. Yep. Beautiful. Hot to hold, huh? Yep. That's a good sign. There it is. Nice, dude. Hell yeah, dude. Now back to the butter, the real important thing. Okay, so you can see we went to whipped cream, and then now it's starting to solidify. The bowdrill butter maker was really helpful in the beginning, but then I ended up cutting the spoon in half by accident because it was rubbing on the edge of the lid here. So I switched it over and I'm just churning it from now on. I have not given up on the bowdrill butter maker. I think I'm going to improve this design, patent it, courtesy of Catch and Cook California. You'll be able to find them on our website. Not really. I'm wearing more butter than I'm making, I think. But anyway, it's almost there. You can see it's definitely solidifying, and once it does, then the butter will separate from the buttermilk, and we can add salt and herbs, and it'll be delicious. All right, so I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a big chunk of butter in here and a bunch of buttermilk. So this was cream, but look at how thin that is. It's coming out. And so this could be used for making your buttermilk pancakes or biscuits, but we didn't actually plan on that. So, Matt's from Fisherman's Life. Love your channel. Here's a little bit of butter for you. Emergency twig bundle. Getting jute for the
Yeah, a little bit more. I mean, there's already some in there, but it's not very well fluffed up.
Mm-hmm. And what's the story behind your knife here?
That knife?
Yeah.
That's a knife I made, and then I saw a guy's sheath that I thought was pretty slick, that he stored all his cordage on it. So this is using cordage over the weekend. We've taken all the jute twine off, half the bank line. We haven't messed with snare wire. And then on the backside is about an Altoid 10 size survival kit. It's got a little ferro rod so you can start a fire. It's got cotton-soaked cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly, Ziploc bag for putting water in, a piece of really thick tin foil for making a pot, and then these are things I was going to add to it: water purification tablets, and then more cotton balls that are sealed up in this straw. Yeah, and then this is just a piece of bike inner tube that holds it all on there, and you can cut this, and this will burn for a long time too. And then there's also a little fishing kit on the other side.
Nice. And let's see the knife.
The idea is that if you had this on your belt, you'd have all the stuff you need for a night in the woods if you stayed out too late hunting or something.
It's a good idea. So the cottonwood bark did not work very well this time, so we are using one of these cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly. The true emergency tender. There it goes.
But this is why the twig bundle is cool, is because you can manipulate it.
Mm-hmm. Some bacon on the fire there. Got some mushrooms that we picked in the forest and cooked and then threw in this plastic bag, so we'll bring it and throw them in the pan here in a second. I just added some herbs and some salt from the spice kit that my brother made me, and that's all in with the butter, so I'm going to shake that around, make some herb butter, and then we'll give it a taste test. Oyster mushrooms. All right, dude, let's give it a taste test.
Oh, yeah.
Herb butter. I don't know, somebody pulled one over on me. I've got a big hole in my bread, but let's give it a try.
It's good.
It is good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Mmm.
Very good.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We're gonna have to do that again.
Tighten.
Mmm. Yeah. Really?
Uh-huh.
But now I want to do it with crawdads. So if we catch some today, maybe that's...
It'll take a while to do that.
It tastes better because we improvised our spoons. Sweet. Breakfast time.